Sharon, the new student, actually succeeded in forming one of the 4 forms on his first day. He leaves all the students, including the teacher, shocked and amazed. Amy's friend, Shirelle, was impressed at what the new student did, as well as some other female students. She realizes the rumor she heard about him was true. The rumors say he has the attention of all the teachers in the Magic Academy as a whole. She asked Amy what she thought about all she said about him. Amy, in her mind, thinks it's dangerous to leave things the way they are, so she decided she would approach him secretly. The teacher thinks he is specially gifted in the omnipotence aspects. She wonders if he has spent his entire life training alone in the mountains. Sharon tells the teacher that the size shrunk by a lot. The teacher told him that it was true. She says that as the size decreases, so will the destiny also decrease as well. She continues her explanation to him further that with that kind of density level, most physical impacts will definitely not be enough to break his spirit zone. She added that the density would provide him with some level of resistance against mental magic attacks. The teacher commends him for what he has done. She asked him to dissolve his spirit zone, and he thanked the teacher. Everyone is very shocked at the sight of this because he is a new student. How could he have possibly acquired so much skill? He is indifferent as the shock of everyone is a huge surprise to him. Why is everyone shocked? The fact that he is a new student does not limit his abilities, and they should take note of that. Some of the students congratulated him on what he did. He wonders why everyone is looking at him, and then he leaves after dissolving his spirit zone. The teacher acknowledges his insight for completing the defense form as quickly as she had expected, being a new student and his first time doing it, considering he is a convergent type and has an unusually large spirit zone. The teacher knows that he is destined to succeed in that form no matter what. She plans to watch over him at the academy. Meanwhile, there were an innumerable number of gazes on him, but not all of them shared the same feelings. Their feelings toward him differ a lot. While some students begin competitions against him, some students, especially the female students, also show admiration and affection towards him. The feeling all around the school becomes two-sided. Some appreciate his magic while some practically detest him. Some students, mostly male students, show envy and jealousy towards him, and Amy, too, gives him a slightly creepy stare that could make a man pee in his pants. Amy does not hate him to start with, she's just curious and unsure about his person. The next day, there was another set of eyes casting a peculiar gaze on Sharon. Not long later, teacher Sienna enters their class, and everyone is surprised to see her. She does not really visit the class if there is nothing to pass across. She is the most dreaded of the teachers in the school, and that is known to everyone. Sharon recognizes her to be the scary professor that was present during the entrance exam, but what he did not know before was that she was actually the professor in charge of Class 5. But the reason she went out of her way to make him teach a class in Class 7 was so that she could teach Sharon herself. She had heard about him and would like to see the new student. She had also come with the intention of meeting him personally and assessing him after hearing of his first exploit in school. She looked at him under her pair of glasses and planned to get him promoted quickly. She was not trying to depict favoritism, he apparently deserves it. She wishes and would be happy to have him as a student of her class. He saw the teacher look at him, but he felt he was probably overthinking it. He was unsure as to where she had laid her gaze. Was she really looking at him? What could she possibly want? Does she detest him, or is it a positive feeling? He could not help but think about these feelings. However, he moves his attention off the thought as he might be overemphasizing unnecessary thoughts. Apparently, it is their first class, so the students ask her if she could tell them a fun story. One of them asked her if it was true that she was going out with Professor Thad, but she felt disgusted even with her. She considers them bold for being able to question her, as she has been remarked as a very serious lecturer who has no time for jokes. She ignores the question and begins the class. This is one form of her strict personality. Another teacher would have probably laughed over it and even joked about it with the students, but she was quick to trash the discussion, as her main purpose was to teach the class and also look out for the new student. She cast a spell that looked like ice and asked the students if there was anyone who could explain the theory behind the spell. None of the students in class could answer the question. All of a sudden, the class begins to get cold, and every student is shivering already, except the teacher casting the spell. She asked them what cold air is and what refrigeration is. She is a teacher who will not only speak for her students to understand, she is very ready to perform any form of experiment just so that they can improve and learn. One of the students complains that she is freezing. The teacher looks at her and responds to her that the fact that she is cold means that she lacks energy, but the words cold energy do not exist in this world. The students who are cold listen with rapt attention. Therefore, she said, while temperature can increase indefinitely, it cannot decrease indefinitely. She said a state where the energy hits zero is what is called absolute zero. She said if they steal just a little bit of the energy from the room they are inside, they can easily create things such as ice. But she asked that if they divided it up into many tiny particles and created a convection current, what would happen? She said that it would be very well possible for them to create temperatures that are cold enough to kill a person, just as they can probably tell from experience. So, since that is the case, she asked how does a mage absorb all that energy? She said further that how do they, without any tools or equipment, activate magic like that? So she had to demonstrate it on the board with chalk for them to see and to help them understand what she was saying better. So with a piece of chalk, she draws a big circle, which indicates the spirit zone, and a character inside the circle, which indicates a mage. She said that the mage controls the world that is within the spirit zone, and while, yes, it may be limited to a local area within it, the mage is a god. She said as they exert influence on the senses, be it creating light, smell, or physical feeling, the mage's special senses give them the special ability to rule reality. But even with this godlike ability, she said, what if they don't know what they are capable of doing? She said for a mage to activate magic, they will have to fulfill certain conditions, and those conditions are omniscience and omnipotence. She said mages activate magic using omniscience and omnipotence. Now, the students have become more amused with the teacher's lectures. She says further that no matter how omnipotent a mage is, without knowledge, he will not be able to activate magic. She says that it's why mages, despite having excellent senses, study the world like scholars. From the teacher's explanation so far, Sharon now understands why he could not use any magic. He still had many things to learn, after all. He realizes he had no concept of omniscience, so he only trained his omnipotence. He did not show this in his facial expression as he only focused on the teacher. Anyway, the teacher continues her lecture. She tells everyone that they will be learning various subjects at school. She says that the spirit zone is but half of what makes magic. She tells them that if they do not study hard, there is no way or certainty that they will become a decent mage. The class ended not long after, and she said to them that they would be starting their elementary chemistry lecture next. The students ask her to take care of them. Sharon believes he can do it and can become a mage. After class is finished, the students typically either go to the library to study or participate in research groups together. Sharon soliloquizes while walking on the school premises. He feels he is always present in the library every single day, and even with all that he has done, he says he is still barely able to keep up with the noble students in class during lectures. This makes him sad and so tired because of his decreased hours of sleep. Suddenly he realizes learning magic always makes him feel light, since he is accomplishing his dreams. He wonders if someone has created a spell to eliminate the need for sleep. He always wants to carry out new experiments and try out new things, as he is a distinguished fellow already in the academy. If there was a spell to eliminate sleep, he would have learned every aspect of it. Suddenly he noticed his body was getting lighter than before. Then he realizes he is flying and wonders what in the world could be going on. Instantly he looked up and saw a person pulling him up to the sky. The person takes him away from there and flies him to somewhere else. Suddenly a person dropped him from the sky to the ground in a forest. He hits his butt on the ground in the sky, and his books fly out of his hand to somewhere on the ground as well as his bag. The person wears a hood, and Sharon wonders who it could be. The person removed the hood, and he was shocked to see that it was Amma Karmaz. He stared at her for a while. He said he did think he would eventually encounter her someday, but he never knew she would show up so suddenly like that. Amy, who probably had mixed feelings about him, eventually finds his background story and true identity. It appears that they have an unexplainable connection. He wonders if she is still the same child from 5 years ago. Giving the expression on his face, Amy knows he still remembers who she is, just as she had suspected. He was speechless. He became more frightened and intimidating by her as she cast a spell of huge fire in her hand. Finally, she feels she should just take care of things right there once and for all. What will eventually happen to the new student, no one knows. What he could possibly have done to Amy, but it is very obvious that she is determined to destroy him. All of a sudden, she flashes back to a moment when she had a kid 5 years ago. Everything that had happened between them began to replay, the time when gangsters bullied a kid and almost killed him. Initially, she thought of sending the kid home then, but she wanted to look at the kid's crying expression for a bit longer. The kid then was Sharon, but now she sees him as a bastard and casts the fire spell again in annoyance. But Sharon just keeps looking at her from the ground he squatted on. She wonders if he is really that same kid from 5 years ago. Before she makes a rash decision, he told her he obviously remembered. He says that was the time she ordered the delinquents to forcibly remove their clothing. She asked for confirmation of what he said, but she instantly asked him to stop as he was about to take off his clothes. She realized he truly remembered it well. She said it was inappropriate of him to do that. She told him he had a very fundamental misunderstanding of his memories. He was shocked to hear her say that to him. She says further that she is not such a promiscuous woman. One would have thought Amy would end him right there. However, there is a shocking diversion of emotions and intention. She explained that it was those gangsters that were trying to strip him naked on their own, that she never made such an order. But he insisted that he heard from her that she wanted to see and couldn't remember it all, yet he was sure and certain about it. But she insisted it was not like that. She says she has no interest in men, but he finds it unbelievable. He wonders if she kidnapped him just to tell him that, but she says no. She wonders why she is just standing there and making excuses. He wonders if she is just worried that he was spreading rumors about her. He feels it is awkward enough for both parties already. He understands it's a memory she wishes to forget. He feels after all that has happened, her grades are still at the top of the intermediate class, and she is even extremely popular as well. He told her that the only thing she cannot do is to take back what had already happened, so instead of making excuses, would it not be better for her if she just decided to apologize and end things? He said this because he feels it would be the right thing to do. But she feels, why would she apologize? She said he is so slick with his words. She feels he is saying the right thing to do just to make his opposition feel embarrassed and then schemes to exert his dominance. She feels he must see her as a pushover for him to dare to try and fight in a battle of wits against her. She asked him what she gained from apologizing to him. He was shocked to hear that from her. She does not trust him and he will not immediately betray her if she decides to apologize. Also, she feels that if she were to apologize to him, that would be the same as admitting that she did something wrong in the past. She realizes she would still end up being put in a disadvantageous position. But Sharon said apologies are the bare minimum of manners for the other party whom you have hurt, and it is not something you get to get any sort of tangible benefit from. So he wonders why she needs to gain something from making an apology. She thinks it's another attack using logic and righteousness, so she intends to turn the tables on him immediately. She told him she had no reason for her to put in any effort if she did not gain anything from it. She told him that he was just ranting about things to appear nice. She tells him he will have a tough time surviving the Magic Academy if she leaves him alone. He realizes her normal model student personality is just an act, and her wicked personality has not gone anywhere. She intimidates him further by telling him the scariest thing in the academy is the upperclassmen. She says not only the upper-level students but also his fellow classmates will become his enemies if he gets singled out by an upperclassman. She threatens him all the more. He says she is afraid that he might spread rumors and wonders why she would try to get him expelled. She says she will first wait to confirm how trustworthy a person he is. He asks what she meant by that. She wants him to bring her a cup of coffee every day, and she will see how trustworthy he is while he does her errands. Sharon feels rather troubled as he faces a difficult phase of his journey in the academy. He is shocked to hear that and wonders why he would oblige it. She threatens him with expulsion as a commoner that he is, with no choice. He is obliged to do what she said. As long as he is able to build up credibility with those errands, she makes it clear to him that his future depends on it, so he had better be on his best behavior. And if he calls a teacher, she threatens she will make sure they both die. She flies into the sky and leaves him alone in the forest. He thinks he would rather do what she asks of him than be expelled, although he feels it is unfair that he needs to do just whatever she wants him to do. It's already tough for him from the start. The next day at the first library, every student's eyes are on Sharon, who is holding a cup of coffee. They are shocked to see him bringing a cup of coffee to Amy. Sharon, on a normal day, would do no such thing, as he is known for a particular routine that he does daily, which is to visit the library and practice his magic. This has never happened before because they all know the kind of person Amy is. Amy's friend wonders and asks her how it all happened. She didn't answer her. Instead, she collected it and accused him of spilling a lot of it. Then she leaves to go and study, while her friend follows her. This attitude of hers annoys him. The students continue to gossip about the two on their way. Amy's friend thinks Sharon has an interest in Amy, but Amy says it's not like that, and she is just educating her junior. On the inside, Amy feels excited about humiliating him, but Sharon attempts to get revenge by calling her a pervert and a delinquent with the other students. But she is confident no one would believe him, no matter what he says. She wonders if there is anything as sweet as vengeance. Sharon is being laughed at by the students. He feels embarrassed and bullied. He wonders what he's done to her that's so bad. He feels infuriated. He realizes he will be the only one who loses out if he gets stuck on those negative thoughts. He does not trust her, since he had no choice. He made up his mind to do it perfectly. 10 days later, he came again with a cup of coffee, just as he had been doing for days now. This leaves everyone amused, makes them wonder in disbelief. They called him the Magic Academy's pure-hearted romantic. The students say he has confessed for 10 days straight without skipping a day. What a cute guy he is. Amy comes out and is happy to see that the number of spectators has grown. She feels that since there are many people, everyone should know what's going on by now. She deliberates on whether she should just bring everything to a close already or not. Her friend asks her when she's planning to accept Sharon. Amy asks her what she's saying. She asks why she would accept him and asks if she has forgotten who she is in the Magic Academy. But her friend says the rumors are rampant. She tells Amy she has never given other boys in the academy a glance, yet she has been accepting Sharon's cup of coffee for days now. She tells her everyone is ready and waiting for the birth of the legendary couple. Amy finds that shocking. Suddenly, Sharon stretches his hand to offer her the cup of coffee, as everyone shouts at her to accept him. He asks her if he had not spilled a drop this time around. It seems the situation was in Sharon's favor, but he wished she would hurry up and take the cup of coffee from him because there is a need for him to get to the library immediately. Immediately, she becomes very angry and wonders if Sharon is trying to win her over. The students curse for her to accept him. He asks her why she's not taking the cup of coffee from him because he needs to quickly get to the library. She becomes furious and out of rage. She pours out the cup of coffee. Amy is just a troublesome young lady who derives maximum pleasure in creating a scene, especially because Sharon had already found out about his identity and their connection. She yells and screams at him. Everyone is left in shock by her attitude and actions towards him. Amy asks if he thinks her heart would be swayed if he continues to bring her those things, and moreover, as a student, he should be studying and stop chasing after girls. She scolds him further and bans him from bringing her anything, including coffee. Amy's friend apologizes in her stead. She tells her what she did was too much. She asks her why she is like that and what would she do if. Weird rumors started popping up. Amy replies that she does not care, and since it seems as if he has nothing to do, and it will all be over if she just advances into the advanced class. The other students pity him as he kneels with his head facing downward. They know she is a cold-hearted person but never knew it was up to that extent. One of them even suggested that they report her for littering coffee. Sharon realizes he does not need to do this anymore, as Amy said to him, while the other students feel sad for him. He gets up, carries his bag, and is happy to be free. That evening at the first library, Amy is still angry about what happened. After all, she did try to prevent Sharon from making any weird rumors. She ended up being the one who created them instead. She now feels the need to end things before they get out of hand, but she feels that is not just what is important. Immediately, she activates the red eye of Karmas for her to be able to perfectly remember the state she was during the time of what transpired earlier between Sharon and her. For the past 10 days, Amy has been saving all of the images of Sharon completing his coffee deliveries. She notices his reactions on the first day were funny, and it was actually quite fun for Amy. But on the other 9 days, his eyes did not even flinch a single time. In fact, even his irises did not even move. She wonders what that could possibly mean. She says no matter how much he tries to hide his inner feelings, he can never truly hide that glint in his eyes. After all, he cannot control his automatic nervous system. But if that were to be possible, then that meant he could control his emotions like a machine, or he was being completely sincere. She instantly covers her book, and her friend asks if she is going already. But she says she's a little exhausted. Her friend intends to go with her since she is going as well, but Amy insists she stays and feels there is no need for her to go because of her. Her friend thought she was still thinking about what happened earlier. Amy yells at her that it's not like that. Her friend tells her to let her know if she has something left out to say, but she says she's fine and leaves. On the way, she feels so exhausted since it did not go as planned. Her mind is a mess. She wishes to get some rest. On her way, she meets Jake Ardius. Jake tells her he thought they would have to wait until midnight before she's done, but Amy wonders if he's too idle to even have the time to wait for her. He tells her that he heard rumors that a poor kid named Sharon was sticking to her. She feels he only comes after her just to make fun of her. He says she thought wrong and offered her the highest quality civic coffee that she cannot even get anywhere in the academy. She wonders what he's doing by offering her the coffee. He tells her he is courting her, rather than Sharon. He feels someone like him who will succeed his father as a royal financial executive officer is a much more fitting man for her. She's annoyed and tells him that she is not in the mood to play along with his disgusting jokes. He's shocked to hear her say disgusting things to him. She feels they are not even that close enough to be having such a conversation. She tells him that they did think she would not know that his research group had constantly been trying to knock her down a peg. But Jake tells her she had misunderstood the whole situation. But Amy feels no matter what he may think, his tone of voice is a bit problematic. He tells her she is disrespecting his household by disrespecting him. He says further that an attitude that looks down on the honor of his household is something that he cannot accept. He expects her to agree as well, since she is from the famous Karmas. Suddenly, she calls him an effing pathetic, which shocks him. She wonders if it's because of his tiny bit of popularity at school that prevented him from thinking straight. She calls him an impotent little, who cannot do anything without the backing of his household. He laughs and says she's acting cocky because she's a first-class student, but he wonders who among the Karmases has any authority. He insults her with her name being at the top, but she has no power to back it up. He feels he can kill off a household at the Karmas level with just money and power of his household. She now understands what he means, but she says it is cowards that have eyes like his, unlike Sharon's. She says his eyes look like a dead fish's. He's shocked and asks if all she is trying to say is that he is worse than Sharon. Amy admitted it. He feels insulted and threatens Amy that he will eliminate Sharon or make sure that he will not be able to use magic within a day. As he was talking, Amy became infuriated with what he said and poured away the coffee cup in his hand. In anger, he becomes angry and calls her all sorts of names. He had never been that angry before, as his eyes were full of rage and disapproval. Amy was enraged by what he said, that he would harm Sharon. She uses her magic in anger. Jake was surprised to see her form a four-way formation so quickly. He quickly tells her that she does not know that using magic is a violation of the Magic Academy's policies. She burst into laughter and wondered what a mere small fry like him would do. She tells him Sharon is not a little, like him, who only relies on his household. She says Sharon is someone who can take responsibility for what he does. She bets Jake will not be able to measure up to his toes within half a year. He is mad but notices Amy has filled up the area with oxygen, and she will set him aflame the moment he tries to enter his spirit zone. There is no way he can face off in the first place in the intermediate class. But he definitely plans to get his revenge for the humiliation. Immediately, he ran away and told Amy to just wait for his revenge. Amy only ignores this, as she is convinced that she will take care of him if the worst should come. After he left, Amy calmed down. She feels it has been a while since she has been so agitated and wonders why she did that. She feels it's because Jake threatens Sharon or she's just scared about being revealed. For a moment, she felt sad that Sharon would not be showing up starting from the next day to give her coffee and to send him on his errands, yet she is happy. Her head feels cleared up already. A few days later, Amy's friend comes to give Sharon a letter, which she thinks Amy has received because she could not find her. She looks sad. Sharon collected the letter and read the letter. The letter says that they have kidnapped Sharon and before they make sure he can no longer function as a male again, Amy should come down to the 14th training field by 18 o'clock, and if she tells any of the teachers, they will make sure that she regrets doing that for the rest of her entire life. Sharon realizes this letter is false and a trap to get Amy using him. He was confused and asked Amy's friend if she was telling him that Amy had gone to save him. He's unsure of what Amy thinks of him, as her hatred is never fully buttressed, and so is her warmth. She confirmed it immediately. Sharon returns to her as a wave. Did you enjoy this recap? If you did, kindly like this video and subscribe to our channel so we can bring you the recap of the next